I thought of choosing a place with real history and taste. Tandoori House was established back in 1995. It had been serving customers for 30 years. That was 3 decades of cooking and sharing flavors with everyone who came through its doors. When I arrived at the restaurant, I stood on Prince Faisal bin Fahd Road in Khobar city. The building looked simple at first, but as I came closer, I noticed the white entrance decorated with greenery. There were plants, tall pots, and wooden banisters guiding the way in. It gave me the feeling of walking into a quiet corner away from the busy road. The parking outside was easy to find. Cars lined up in front, and the street felt calm with shade from trees and planters. I stopped for a moment, looking at the front sign above the entrance. It stood there with confidence, showing the name that had been trusted for years. The exterior had a charm of its own. The mix of wood, plants, and heritage decoration created a welcoming scene. It felt warm, familiar, and timeless. It was the kind of entrance that promised good food waiting inside. And this was only the beginning of my journey at Tandoori House.
Hi guys, this is Yazan. Today I will take you with me to Tandoori House, one of the mixed Asian cuisines restaurant in Khobar city. I will be ordering several dishes from their menu and I will be sharing my honest review. No filters, no fluff. From starters to desserts, we'll be diving into the full experience. So join me today for lunch and let's discover if this place is really worth the hype. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's give it a try, guys.
I stepped inside and felt the place open with light. Big windows filled the room with brightness. Hanging decor and patterned lanterns gave a touch of culture. The air felt calm and warm. In the center was a garden corner with plants and clay pots. Wooden railings made it look like a courtyard. It felt peaceful to sit near it. The tables were neatly set with woven chairs. White walls carried colorful framed art. Each picture added charm to the room. Rustic wooden chairs stood along the entrance path. The ceiling was high with bamboo and wooden textures. Sunlight came through the skylights and made it alive. Partitions gave families privacy, and the whole space felt traditional and welcoming. The menu was given in a clear digital style. Each section was easy to browse and well organized. They listed appetizers, main dishes, desserts, and drinks. Prices were placed beside every item. Calories were also added, which made it helpful. I could see the numbers and imagine the portions. Some dishes looked heavy and festive. Others were light and easy to enjoy. It gave balance for both choices. Starters included classics with clear prices. The main courses showed the signature plates of the restaurant. Desserts had their calories written so customers could decide. Drinks were listed with fresh juices and coffee. It was a simple menu to understand. Everything was written in a way that matched the theme of the restaurant. It felt modern but respectful to tradition. This was the Tom Yang Ghong soup. It arrived in a white bowl with steam rising softly. The broth looked light and milky, carrying a fresh aroma of lemongrass and ginger. Bright green onions floated on top, with mushrooms and prawns peeking through the surface. Fresh herbs were sprinkled across, and a slice of lemon rested on the side. The colors were simple yet inviting, with a touch of green and soft whites. It felt refreshing just to look at it before tasting. When I took my first spoonful, I noticed how the flavors blended gently. The prawns were tender, the mushrooms added an earthy bite, and the lemongrass gave a citrusy lift. The ginger added warmth, and the onions kept the taste sharp and fresh. I squeezed a little lemon, and the soup turned brighter and more alive. Every spoonful felt both soothing and slightly spicy. It was light yet full of flavor, a bowl that balanced freshness with comfort. The soup carried only 111 calories, which made it a pleasant choice. It was tasty, aromatic, and different from the usual soups I had before. This was the Peking Soup. It arrived in a deep white bowl with a slice of lemon on the side. The service glowed softly under the light, showing a thick and rich broth. Bright green parsley floated on top, giving a fresh color to the dark soup. Small pieces of chicken, vegetables, and egg were mixed in the broth. The aroma was spicy and inviting, carrying both warmth and depth. I moved my spoon gently, and the broth shifted slowly with its heavy texture. The lemon waited on the plate, ready to brighten the flavor. I lifted the spoon and tasted the soup. It was bold and spicy, with a gentle heat that spread warmly. The chicken added protein, the vegetables gave crunch, and the egg made it smooth. The thickness made it feel more filling than a light starter. I squeezed a bit of lemon juice, and the soup changed at once. The citrus added a sharp edge, cutting through the spice. Each spoonful after that was balanced between strong warmth and fresh brightness. It was a simple dish, yet it carried comfort and strength. At 131 calories, it was light enough to begin the meal without feeling heavy. This was the drum of heaven. The plate came with a bright red color that caught my eye right away. Each piece looked crispy on the outside but still soft inside. Fresh cabbage, carrot, and coriander were placed on top, which gave a fresh look. The deep red coating made the dish look bold and spicy. It was served simply on a white plate, which made the color stand out even more. I took the first piece and noticed how hot and crunchy it felt. The chicken inside was tender and juicy with a smoky taste. The outside had a spicy kick that stayed on the tongue. I dipped it into the red spicy sauce, which made the flavor stronger. Then I tried it with the oily chili and ginger sauce, which gave heat and sharpness. The sweet and sour red sauce balanced everything with a lighter taste. And finally, the soy sauce added saltness and depth. It was a mix of crispy, spicy, and saucy flavors that made the appetizer exciting to eat. This appetizer had 526 calories, which made it a heavy but satisfying start to the meal. These were the fried wontons, and they were golden and crispy on the outside. The plate looked inviting, with the shredded cabbage and carrots on top. The shape was rustic, twisted and folded from frying. Each piece promised a crunchy bite that carried warmth. The edges looked thin and crackly, while the centers seemed thicker. The light color told me they were fried just right with care. I picked one up and heard the crunch in my hand. It felt airy but still carried weight inside. The filling was a mix of chicken and prawns, and this dish had 483 calories in total. The aroma was light, with a hint of oil and seafood. I dipped the first piece into the sweet and sour sauce. The sweetness came first, followed by a gentle freshness. The next one I tried with soy sauce. It gave the wonton a salty depth that balanced the filling. Then I dipped into the red spicy sauce. It was bright and strong, lifting the taste right away. After that, I went for the oily chili and ginger sauce. It was intense, strong, and left a slow warmth in the mouth. Each sauce gave a different mood to the same bite. The wontons themselves stayed crispy, even after dipping. It was a simple starter, but offered many layers of taste. The kind of dish that kept changing with every dip. This is Mongolian chicken. The chicken pieces looked golden and crisp. Each one was coated in a thick fried layer. The plate was topped with thin strips of carrots and cabbage. Fresh coriander sat on top, adding a green touch. The shape of the chicken was rough and uneven from frying. The color showed they were cooked well, light and inviting. When I picked one up, it felt firm on the outside. The surface was crunchy but not oily. Inside, the meat was tender and hot. The flavor came through as warm and flavorful. I tried it first with the hot spicy sauce. The heat rushed in quickly, sharp but exciting. Then I dipped it into the hot and sour sauce. This one was tangy and balanced the crisp chicken well. Finally, I tried it with the soy sauce. It gave a deep salty taste that matched the fried coating. It was a hearty starter, simple yet satisfying, and the portion carried 433 calories. This is cashew chicken. The chicken pieces looked tender and coated in a glossy brown sauce. Whole cashews were scattered across, giving it a rich and hearty look. Sliced mushrooms and green peppers sat among the chicken. Onions added a light contrast, while fresh coriander gave a green finish. The plate looked full, saucy, and inviting. When I picked up a piece with the fork, it was covered in a thick layer of sauce. The chicken was soft inside, absorbing the flavor. The cashews gave a crunchy bite that broke the softness. Mushrooms added earthiness, while the peppers gave a mild kick. Each forkful brought a mix of nutty, rich, and fresh notes. Then I ate it with plain naan bread. The bread scooped the sauce well, soft and comforting. After that, I tried it with garlic naan bread. The garlic flavor paired with the sauce and nuts, making it stronger and more aromatic. It was a rich and filling dish, full of texture and taste, and the portion carried 658 calories. This is Szechwan Beef. The dish came with chunks of beef resting in a deep red sauce. Green peppers and onions were mixed in, along with coriander on top. The sauce looked glossy, thick, and richly spiced. It gave off a warm aroma that carried both heat and freshness. When I picked up a piece with the fork, it was soft but held together. The beef was tender, covered deeply in the rich sauce. The onions gave a sweet crunch, while the peppers added freshness. The coriander on top added a gentle herbal note. Each bite carried spice, warmth, and a little sharpness. The sauce had heat that built up slowly, leaving a lasting kick. It stayed on the tongue, bold but not overwhelming. The flavor kept building with every bite. I tasted it first with the fork, letting the sauce speak for itself. Then I switched to plain naan bread, dipping into the rich sauce. The bread softened the heat and gave comfort to the bite. With garlic naan, the flavor became even deeper and more inviting. The garlic matched the spice and gave the beef a stronger finish. It was a strong, bold dish full of flavor and richness. The kind of plate that stayed in memory even after finishing. And the portion carried 523 calories. This is sizzling Peking prawns. The dish arrived sizzling on the hot plate. Steam rose quickly, carrying the smell of garlic and spice. The prawns looked golden under the red sauce. The fried layer softened gently as the sauce covered each piece. I picked up the first prawn carefully using the fork. The sauce was glossy and thick, covering it completely. It felt firm on the outside but tender once the fork pressed in. Inside, it was tender and juicy. Every forkful was layered with heat, comfort, and flavor. The garlic came through sharply, adding freshness. The chili gave strength, leaving warmth that stayed on the tongue. The dish was bold, flavorful, and truly fulfilling. The sauce was perfectly balanced. It was not too thick and not too thin. The sauce held nicely on each prawn and in every bite. Then I pressed the plain naan bread into the sauce. The bread took in the rich red sauce. It gave a softer taste that matched well with the prawns. With garlic naan, the flavor became stronger and more aromatic. The dish held its bold flavor until the very end. It was a lively, satisfying plate full of spice and taste, and the portion carried 467 calories. This is Asfahani Lamb Biryani. The rice looked long, white, and fluffy. Orange saffron strands gave it a soft glow. Golden cashews and raisins rested on top. Fresh coriander leaves gave a green finish. The bowl was deep and steaming with aroma. It looked like a festive dish. It was generous and full. I lifted the first spoonful. The rice was airy but held a firm bite. It gave off a warm aroma of cardamom and clove. The lamb pieces were tender and rich. Each bite mixed spice with a touch of sweetness. The raisins softened the flavor with fruit. The cashews gave a crunch against the soft rice. I tried it first with the yogurt mixed with garlic and mint. It cooled the spice and gave a refreshing taste. The mint made each bite bright and sharp. Then I switched to the yogurt with garlic and cucumber. This one was thicker and more earthy. The cucumber added a crisp and cool bite. It matched well with the tender lamb and rice. Without sauce, the spice came forward more clearly. The lamb, rice, nuts, and herbs blended together. Every bite carried strength but stayed balanced. It was filling and heavy, and made for a full meal. This 981 calories dish felt like a meal meant for sharing. This biryani brought both comfort and joy to the table. This was the fresh lemon with mint. The glass came tall and shining with a bright green glow. On top, there was a light foam that looked fresh and airy, and the mint added a cool touch. The first sip was sharp with lemon, but softened by the mint. It felt refreshing and light, especially after the heavy biryani. The balance of citrus and herbs made every sip lively. It was not too sweet, and the coolness stayed in my mouth. This drink is usually made with fresh lemon juice, blended mint, water, and a little sugar. The taste reminded me of summer evenings and family tables. It cleaned the taste and gave energy after the spicy food. At around 130 calories, it felt like a bright and easy choice. It matched perfectly with the rice and yogurt sides. In the end, it was not only a drink but also a moment of freshness. This is a fruit cocktail. The glass looked tall and full with a soft pink color. The service was creamy and smooth. It gave a first impression of something sweet and fresh. When I picked it up, the texture felt thick and rich. The straw slipped in easily, showing how soft the drink was. The first sip carried the taste of strawberries and mango. The sweetness felt natural, calm, and smooth on the taste. The milk blended everything into a creamy balance. Each sip gave a cooling touch after the spices of the meal. It felt like dessert in a glass. It was light and refreshing. I enjoyed how the flavors worked together without being too strong. It was both a drink and a treat at the same time. The portion carried about 250 calories. The price of Tom Yang Ghong is 29 Saudi Riyal. The price of Peking Soup is 28 Saudi Riyal. The price of a drum of heaven is 32 Saudi Riyal. The price of fried wontons is 29 Saudi Riyal. The price of Mongolian chicken is 32 Saudi Riyal. The price of cashew chicken is 44 Saudi Riyal. The price of Szechwan Beef is 50 Saudi Riyal. The price of sizzling Peking Prawns is 55 Saudi Riyal. The price of Asfahani Lamb Biryani is 49 Saudi Riyal. The price of a fresh lemon with mint is 18 Saudi Riyal. The price of a fruit cocktail is 20 Saudi Riyal. The total plus the value added tax, which is 15%, is 466.90 Saudi Riyal. The food carried both strength and comfort. The Mongolian chicken was crisp outside and soft inside, with sauces that give heat, sour balance, and depth. The Asfahani Lamb Biryani came steaming with long basmati rice, cashews, and raisins. It was full of aroma and flavor. The yogurt sides were refreshing, one with mint and garlic, the other with cucumber and garlic, and both lifted the rice beautifully. Drinks were fresh and cooling, especially the lemon with mint and the fruit cocktail, which balanced the spices. So for food, I give a strong 4.5 out of 5. The service felt warm and caring. The staff brought each dish at the right time and explained the sauces clearly. They made sure the table stayed organized and even offered help with the yogurt bowls. It was not rushed and the friendliness stood out. So for service, I give 4.6 out of 5. The atmosphere was simple but steady. The seating gave enough space, and the light coming inside kept it pleasant. It was not decorated in a heavy style, but it felt relaxed enough to enjoy the meal without noise or pressure. So for atmosphere, I give 4.2 out of 5. Parking was available right by the building. It had clear spots and enough space for cars, and there was also a ramp made it easier for wheelchair access. In the end, the experience brought flavor, comfort, and a touch of refreshment.
So this was my experience today at Tandoori House restaurant. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. And just remember, each bite tells a story. See you next one. Bye.